Hello, CSEC scholars. Welcome to another live CSEC math class. Tonight, we are diving into consumer arithmetic, and we're going to be focusing on simple interest. Before we do that, please check out our schedule of live classes. Here we go. Hello CSEC math students, I know you are busy preparing for your math tests and your CSEC exams coming up. I have a very important question to ask you. Do you like my new hat? Thank you. Now another important question. Have you ever gotten a math problem wrong simply because of making one little mistake? I'm sure you have, as thousands of other students have. Now in this series, we're going to be looking at the common mistakes that students make with all the topics in CSEC math. We're going to look at the common errors, demystify everything, make sure you watch every video in this series so that you can avoid making those mistakes. So stay tuned. Hello scholars, did you know that most times when students get problems wrong in mathematics is as a result of one single error or one mistake? Well, this is absolutely true, and we're going to be looking at the common errors that students make in the different topics in mathematics. If we know the errors beforehand, we can certainly avoid making them. Are you ready? Come on, take my hand. All right, guys, so we're going to look at consumer arithmetic. Let me welcome my scholars. Welcome Asar, welcome Imani. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine.
All right, so this new topic that we're starting, consumer arithmetic. And this is something, we're all consumers because we all use products and services. Consumer arithmetic has to do with buying and selling, profit and loss, conversion of currency, hire purchase, wages, that kind of thing. Right? So that's what we're talking about when we say consumer arithmetic. So we're starting with simple interest. Give me a second, please. We're starting with simple interest, and we're going to just have a chat about it first before we start working out anything. So we're actually gonna carry over this into next week. So what we're doing tonight is just looking at the basic concept, right? So if you borrow money, let's say you borrow money from a bank, or if you invest money, the money that you get at the end of the investment or the money that you have to pay back at the end of the loan from the bank is not the same as the original money. So if you borrow $10,000 from the bank, you're not just going to be paying back $10,000. Or if you invest $10,000, whether in stocks or whatever you invest it, you don't expect to just get back $10,000. Otherwise, what would be the point? The point of investing, and the point of the bank lending is to earn interest. This is the main reason that banks are able to stay in business, that they lend money, so they allow you to take money. It could be argued, we could get into arguments to say, well, it's not really the bank's money, it's the persons who join the bank, the customers. It's their money, and the bank is taking it and doing whatever. So that could be argued, yes, but you are getting this money. If you're taking out a loan, you're getting this money. You don't have $10,000 of your own. You're getting $10,000 to use to do whatever you want it to do. So that comes at a cost. You are being charged a little extra for the ability to take that money that is not yours and to use it to do what you want it to do. That little extra, or some would say it's a lot extra or too much extra, could be argued, but that extra is called the interest, and that is the money that the banks use to pay their staff and to pay for their utilities. That is their profit. Much of their profit comes from that. Likewise, if you are investing money, you want to earn a profit on your investment. You want to earn interest. That's the whole point of investing it, to turn over the money. So at the end of the investment, you have more than what you started with. So that money that you invest, or that money that the bank gives you upfront to go do what you want with, that is called the principal. How is the interest worked out? How do they decide how much interest you have to pay back? Or how do they decide how much interest to give you back if you are the one investing? So the interest is calculated at a certain rate, and each institution will decide their rate. So you might get a loan from Bank A at 5%. And if you go over to Bank B, you may get it for 8%, 3%. They decide. It's up to them. So the interest is at a rate percent. And the time that you take to pay back the loan, or the time that it takes for your investment to mature, that time is measured in years. If the time is given in months, then you would have to express it as a fraction of a year or a decimal of a year, whichever way you want to express it. So at the end of it, the amount that you paid back, or the amount accruing, would be the amount that you borrowed, because you have to pay that back, plus the interest that has grown off that. Likewise, if it's an investment, you're going to get back the money that you invested. You're going to get back that principal plus the interest. So let's do some writing. I'm going to share my screen now. And we're going to do some writing. So we're going to look at the simple interest formula. We're going to look at the simple interest formula. And that is so for simple interest, and there is something called compound interest which we are going to do in time to come. So the simple interest, and we use SI to represent that. The simple interest is the principal times the rate times the time. It's put over 100 because the rate comes with the rate is in percent, so that's why we have it over 100. So this 100 really goes with the rate. So if it's at 8%, it will be 8 over 100. So that's how we get the over 100. It comes with the rate there. So P means the principal, which is the money that is borrowed or the money that is invested. R would be the rate, percent. So the rate, percent. And T would be time in years. So remember, this is important. If time is given in months, so let's say 9 months, you still have to express it as years. So you'd have to put the 9 over 12 as a fraction, or that cancels to what? 3 into 9, 3, 3 into 12, 4. So that's 3 quarters. You could express it as 0.75 years, right? So in the formula, if you were given time in years, you would still put the principal times the rate times the 9, and then you'd put times 12 down here with the 100, because the 12 would be in the denominator. So this is important. If you get the time in months, put 12 down the bottom with the 100, or just change the months to divide it by 12 and get your decimal and put it up the top there, whichever way you want to work it. So this just gives you the interest, the simple interest. In order to determine how much money you're going to pay back, that would be the amount. So that's the amount accrued, the amount that you have to pay back. So you have to pay back the principal that you borrowed. You have to pay that back plus the interest. So the amount is the principal plus the interest. So when we work out the simple interest, we add it back to the principal to see how much money we are going to pay back in all. All right, now let's say they give you the interest and they want the rate, or they want the time, or they want the principal. There are 3 formulas we can use depending on which one we want. So if we want the rate, it's the interest times 100 divided by the principal times the time. That's if we want the rate. If we want the time, interest times 100 over the principal times the rate. And if we want the principal, it's interest times 100 over the time times the rate. All right, scholars, so tell me, do you notice a pattern in the formulas? Do you notice a pattern that we could use to help us to remember the formula? All right, so those in the chat, if you want to join us in studio, here's the link you can use. Welcome,
Miss?
Jamani. Welcome, Sheila Lewis. Welcome. If you want to join us, follow that link, please. Yes, scholars. So do you notice a pattern?
Yes, miss.
What's the pattern you notice, Asar?
It's the interest times 100 over the other two variables.
Okay, right. So we have three variables, because remember we're saying, let's say we know what the interest is. Good night, Zion. Welcome. Let's say we know what the interest is, but we want one of the other three variables, the principal or the rate or the time. What Asar is saying is that he notices that in all the formulas, it starts with interest times 100, and then depending on the one that we want to find, the variable that we want to find, the other two are at the bottom in the denominator. So knowing that then is very easy for us to remember. If you want the rate, you know that interest times 100 is going to be at the top, and principal times time will be at the bottom. If it's the time you want, you know that interest times 100 is going to be at the top, and principal times rate will be at the bottom. And if it's the principal you want, interest times 100 is at the top, and the time times the rate will be at the bottom. So these are the five basic formulas that we're going to use in simple interest. The first one being the simple interest formula. Simple interest is principal times rate times time over 100. The amount is the principal plus the interest. The rate is the interest times 100 over the principal times the time. The time, interest times 100 over the principal times the rate. And the principal, interest times 100 over the time times the rate. So let's put it to practice now. So let's say we are borrowing. So let's say we are borrowing $400 at 5% for 3 years. What would be the simple interest, and what would be, how much would I need to pay back in all? Who wants to do this one first?
Miss, the simple interest would be the principal times the rate times time. So would be
So simple interest would be,
400 times 5
hold
times
on, let me
3.
just quickly write the
Oh,
formula. Principal times rate times time over 100. All right, so that would be what?
400 times 5 times 3 over 100.
So 400 times 5 times 3 over 100, and that would give,
It's the zeros cancel out, and 4
so
times 5 is
those
20, and
cancel.
20 times 3 is 60. So $60.
So $60, that's the simple interest.
So
How much would I end up paying back?
the amount altogether that you would be paying back, means it would be the principal plus the interest. So it would be 400 plus 60, which is $460.
All right, so the original 400 that I borrowed plus the interest that I have to pay back, the $60, So in all, I'm gonna end up paying back $460. All right, John.
Yes, Miss, I'm ready.
Okay, John, I didn't tell you welcome, so let me tell you welcome now.
Good night, Miss.
So, John, you're borrowing $6,000
Miss,
at
that's
10.
1,600.
Sorry, 1,600 at 10% for 6 months. What's
Okay.
the simple
So,
interest
Miss,
and how much
since
would you
it's
end up paying back?
Miss, okay, Miss. So since
So, simple interest
it's six hundred
rate,
dollars, Miss.
principal times rate times time.
Oh,
All right, so
okay. So,
what do we do?
Miss, we'll find the principal, Miss, which is 1,600
So 1,600
times 10
times 10
times 6/12, Miss.
times 6 over 12.
Yes, Miss. Over 100, Miss.
All right. So we can put the 100 down there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what would that be?
Okay, Miss. So 1,600 into 100 into 1,600, Miss.
All right, so we
That
can
goes.
cancel the zeros.
Yes, Miss. Miss, that goes 16.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss, 12
Mhm.
into 6, Miss.
6 into 12.
Oh,
6
6
into
into 12.
12.
Yes, Miss. 6 into 12 goes 2 times, Miss.
Uh-huh.
2 into 10 or 16.
Yes, Miss. 2 into 10, Miss. That goes 5
It's
times.
easier to do 2 into 16. It's easier to multiply by 10.
Yes, Miss. 8.
All right,
So
so how
8.
much money is the interest?
Yes,
$80.
yes, Miss. $80.
All
So
right,
Miss,
so
we're going
what
to add.
would I have to, so the amount that I have to pay back?
Yes, Miss. Miss, we're going to add the 1,600, the $80 to the 1,000 to the $1,600, Miss.
Okay,
And Miss, we would get $1,680.
$1,680.
Yes.
All right, now sometimes what they might ask you also is how much would the person pay per month? So in the case of that, how would we approach that? So let's say they're saying, how much would the person pay?
Miss.
Hold on. What did I do? How much would the person pay per month? Imani?
Miss per month.
Miss,
Yes, that's okay for me. Per month.
Go
per
ahead.
month.
Yeah.
No, I'm asking how would we approach it?
Miss, we would divide the total amount by 12 since there are 12 months in a year.
Well, it depends on how
Or,
many years. Right? All right,
yeah.
so Sheila is saying she got 1,680. All right, and that's what we got as well. All right, Asar. So let's say $350 is invested at 20% for 8 months. So what would be the simple interest and what would be the amount, the total amount that has to be paid back?
So the simple interest is equal to 350 multiplied by 20 multiplied by
So principal
zero
times
point
rate times time over
4.
100. So you're saying 350. What else?
350 times 20
Times 20.
point 25.
0.25. Where the 0.25
I
from?
think so. 8 months to years.
8 months to years. So 8 over 12. 8 over 12 is what?
A quarter. So
8 over 12 is not a quarter.
oh, a half
So 8 over 12. So 4 into 8,
goes 2
2.
times
4 into 12, 3. So 2
and
third.
2/3.
What's 2 third as a decimal? Or we could
1
we
point
could write the 2 third, We could write that 2 third years. Or 0.6666, right? That's 2 third as a decimal. Over 100. All right, so what can cancel here?
the 350 and the 20. The zeros with the 350 and the 20.
So you mean these two zeros can cancel these two? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, miss.
All right, so these two cancel these two. All right, what else?
And then 70 times 2 over 3. 140 over 3.
And want it's dollars and cents. So 3 into 14 goes 4.
4 times.
Remainder 2. And 3 into 20 goes 6.
6 times remainder 2.
So the remainder 2 will keep giving us 6, right?
Yes, miss.
All right, so this is the interest. And what's the amount?
That would be 350 plus 46.66.
All right, so that is $396.66, right? All right, so let me check the chat to see what's up. Oh, so if you're not able to see the screen, so what we did to find the amount, we added the $350, which was the principal. We added that to the interest of $46.66, and we got $396.66. So that's the total amount that has to be repaid. So remember, to get the amount that you have to pay back, or to get the amount that you're going to get when your investment matures, it would be the principal plus the interest. So let's look now to see if we know the interest, right? So Imani, so let's say Imani, you borrowed $600. That's the principal, right? The interest that you are told you have to pay back you are told you have to pay back $100 interest. And 2 years is the time that you borrowed it. So we want to find the rate. What rate did you borrow it at? If you have to pay back $100 interest on $600 after 2 years, at what rate did you borrow it?
Miss, so the formula to find the rate is 100 times the interest over the principal times time.
So interest times 100 over the principal times the time. So what's that then?
Miss, that's 10,000 over
So the interest is
1,200.
100 times 100, right?
Yes, miss.
So that's 10,000. And the principal is what?
Over 600 times 2.
All right, and this gives what?
Miss, 10,000 over 1,200.
So these two zeros cancel, right?
So 2, yes, miss. So 2 into 100
That
is
cancels.
50. So it would be 50.
So
And
6 into
also,
50.
okay, so 6 into 50 goes 8 times. Remainder 2 over 6. So, 50, sorry, 8 and 1 over 3 then.
So 8 and 1/3%, or 8.333%, right?
Yes, miss.
All right. All right, John.
Okay.
Suppose I borrowed $8,000 and I'm told I have to pay back $10,000 after 4 years.
Okay, miss.
What is at what rate? At what rate?
Miss, we're supposed to find the rate.
Here,
Miss, the rate is what again?
the percent.
Okay. So, miss. Okay.
So I borrowed 8,000 and I have to pay back $10,000
Yes.
after
Okay.
4 years.
Okay, miss. So, miss,
So,
it'd be
so this is what
eight
was borrowed.
8,000 times 10,000 over 100.
This is what was borrowed. This is what is paid back.
Yes. So, miss, the
Um,
principal is what is borrowed.
yeah.
Yes.
So what do you say I should do?
Miss, I was saying we could do 8 8,000 times 10,000 over 100.
Is that it?
Yes, miss. Oh, wait, sorry, miss. Times the 4 years.
All right. Asar, do you agree with this? Is Asar on?
Yes, miss.
Do you agree, Asar?
Oh,
John says this is how he would work out the rate. He borrowed 8,000. He has to pay back 10,000 after 4 years.
After 4 years,
And he's saying to find the
No,
rate,
that's not good.
he's going to multiply the 8,000 by the 10,000 over 100 times 4. Do you agree?
I think.
Imani, do you
Well, he
agree?
has to pay back.
No,
He pays back 10,000. He borrowed 8,000.
I think you just have to divide the 10,000 by 4.
Divide the 10,000 by 4 to get the rate. Imani, what do you say?
he borrowed 8,000 and has to pay back 10,000. So
Miss,
Yes, sir.
would it be 2,000 times 100 over 4 times um
And where the 2,000 come from?
is
um
when you subtract the 8,000 from 10,000.
Right. So we'd have to subtract first to get the interest. You see that, John?
Yes.
To get the interest, this is not the interest, The 10,000 is not the interest. You're paying back 10,000. The interest is in the 10,000. What you pay
Okay.
back is the principal plus the interest. So I'm going to remove this then. So first of all, we have to determine what the interest is. So the interest is the 10,000 minus the 8,000.
Yes, Miss, and that is 2,000.
So the interest is 2,000. This is what we're going to put now. So it's the 2,000. Continue now, John. 2,000.
Okay, Miss. The 2,000 times the 8,000, Miss.
No. To find the rate is what? Interest times 100
Okay, Miss. So that's at the times the 10,000.
over what? Over what?
Miss, over 4.
Over 4. Let's go back and see. The hold on, where was the original? The rate, interest times 100 over the, remember the other two go to the bottom? The one that you want is equal to the interest times 100 over the other two.
Okay,
So it to be interest interest times 100 over the principal times the time.
Miss.
So
And the
what's the
principal
principal?
is Miss 8,000 times 4.
Okay, so the principal is 8,000 and the time is 4. So that would give what?
Miss, it'd be Miss the 2,000 and the 8,000 can both be divided by 2,000. Miss.
All right, so 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 8, 4.
Yes, Miss. And the 4 and 100 can both be divided, Miss, by 4. 4 into 100 goes 25 times.
All right,
Yes, Miss. So it's 25 over 4.
which is
Okay. Miss, that would be 6 point. Miss, it be 6 and 1 over 4, which is 6.25
and what's the unit?
percent. Is 6.
Percent. All right, Asar. All right, so let's say 7,500 was borrowed at 2%, and you pay back $9,000. So this is payback, right? So you borrow 7.5 at 2%, you pay back 9,000. What is the time?
The time is equals to the interest times 100 over the principal times the rate.
Okay. So what would it be then?
Mm, So it'll be 1,500.
All right. So how you got 1,005?
I subtracted 9,000 from. I subtracted 7,500 from 900.
9,000. So to get the interest, we take the principal from the amount that we're paying back. So we got 1,005. So this is the interest, 1,005. Okay. So it's interest times 100 over what?
Interest times 100 over the principal times the rate.
So what's the principal?
The principal is 7,005.
So 7,005, and the rate is
2%.
2. All right, so let's do some canceling then.
You can cancel the 1,005 and 7,005.
How many times?
5 into 15 goes 3 times. 5
5
into
times.
75 goes. And 2 into 100 goes 50 times.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 into 50 goes 10 times. So we'll get left back with 10%.
Time,
Oh, 10 years.
10 years. All right, let me see what time we're keeping here. All right, so each person can get one more. So the time is 10 years. All right, so Sheila says this formula is wrong. Which formula, Sheila? Which formula are you saying is
Miss, I think they're talking about the one that we were working out, the simple interest, the first one.
so did we do something wrong there?
We did something wrong at first.
Oh, when John was saying, okay, that when John was saying he would multiply everything instead of finding the interest. All right. Okay, so back to you, Imani. All right, so if you invested a sum of money, and you got $20,000 in return. This is how much you get back, right? You got back $20,000 in return, and the rate was 5%. Come on. The rate was 5%, and you invested it for 4 years. And the simple interest was $5,000. So what am I asking here? Am I giving too much information? So you got back 20,000. Or so let's say we don't know the time then. I'm pulling things from out of thin air. So let's say we don't know the time. So we want to know how long. We want to know the time. How long was it invested? So you got back $20,000, right? And it was
Yes.
invested. The money was invested at 5%. The simple interest was $5,000. How long was it invested?
Miss, so we would subtract 5,000 from $20,000.
To get what?
Um, Miss, to get the what do you call it, principal.
All right. So to get the principal, we'd take the interest from the return, the total return.
Miss.
All right. So that would give.
$15,000, miss.
All right. So how would we find the time?
Miss, so now that we have the principal, the equation for time, it would be 100 times the interest over the principal times the rate.
Okay. Which is
Miss, 5,000 times 100 over 1,000, 15,000 times 5%.
so 15,000 times 5. All right. So what cancels what? So
Miss, there's three zeros, cancel three zeros from the 15. Well, yeah, you can do that. And then the 5 into 15 is 3. No, sorry, not 2. So
that's
100
it.
divided. Oh, no, sorry. 5 into 100 is 20.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be 20 divided by 3. And 20 divided by 3 is 6. And remainder 2 over 3.
So 6 and 2/3 years,
Yes, miss.
or 6 years and how many months?
6 years and
2/3 times 12.
miss, that would give you 8 months.
So 6 years and 8 months. All right, John. So John, I want the amount that I'm going to get back. I'm going to invest some money, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to invest $4,200. I'm going to invest it for 3 months at a rate of 25%.
Okay.
How much money will I get back at the end of the 3 months?
Okay. Okay. So this is be 4,200 times 25 times 3 over 12. But okay. So 4,200 times 25 over 100 times. Okay. Yeah, it's 4,200 times 25 times 3. over 100 times 12.
Okay.
That means the 100 and the 4,200 can be divided by 100.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's 100 into 4,200, that goes 42 times.
Mm-hmm.
And 12 into 3 means that goes, wait, 3 into 12 goes 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this would be 42 times 25 times 1 over 9. Is
Times
it
what?
okay if I use a cat?
Yeah. 42 times 25.
It's 42 times 25 times 2 is 3,150.
42 times 25 times what?
It's 40, it's 42 times 25 times 3 is
No, the
3,150.
3, the 3 cancel the 4. The 3 cancel the 12.
Oh yes, okay, times.
So tell me
Alright,
first, what is 42 times 25?
miss that's 1,050.
1000 and what?
Miss 1,050.
And divide that by 4.
Okay. Miss that's 262.5. Or
200 and 260
262, 62 miss.
flat.
No, miss 0.5.
So 50 cents.
Okay, miss.
So this is a simple interest. So how much would I be getting back from my investment?
Okay, miss, so I would have to add back the 4,200. The $262.50 back to the $4,200.
So 4,200 plus the $262.50.
That's miss. And that's 4,462.50.
All right, so the final answer is $4,462 and 50
5 cents. And 50
cents.
cents, sorry.
50 cents. All right. All right, so let's do the last question. Okay, Asar. So I'm investing $84 at 1.5% for 7 months. How much will I get back? What's the total amount I would get back at the end of the 7 months?
84. So simple interest is 84
Mhm.
times 1.5. And for 7 over 12 months.
What about the
Over,
percent?
over 100.
All right, and that gives what?
The top part gives 882.
Can we cancel anything?
Yes, miss.
What?
Missed the 84 and the 12.
All right, so 12 into 84 goes 7.
And
And
49 times 1.5 equals 74
74
over
over
100.
100. So this gives what?
0.74.
Wow. So that's just 74 cents. Okay. All right, so it was just $84. So what's the total amount?
The total amount is the amount he invested plus the amount he gained
So that's $84
plus
plus
0.72
74 cents.
24.
And that gives what?
$84.74.
All right, so the rate was low, the time was low, so that's why we're getting this low amount, right? Just 1.5% and just for 7 months. So the longer it is invested, the more interest it's going to earn. Or the longer you take out a loan, the more interest you're going to end up paying back for that loan. So that's why some people just don't like to take out loans, or they don't like to take out long-term loans, but you like to take out long-term investments, because the longer you let that money stay, the more it's going to grow. So next week, we're going to look at some more problems involving simple interest and the different variations, whether we want to find, whether it's the simple interest we want, or if we know the simple interest and we want to find the rate, the principal, the time, and some other little problems involving simple interest. So that's what we're going to do next week in the topic by topic class. All right, scholars, as usual, thank you for your time and your participation. Those in the chat, thank you for your time and your participation. I will see you in the morning.
Okay, see. Well,
Bye, John. Bye,
Bye,
Asar.
miss.
Bye, Imani.
bye,
Bye,
miss.
everybody. Okay, take care. Hello, CSEC math students. I know you are busy preparing for your math tests and your CSEC exams coming up. I have a very important question to ask you. Do you like my new hat? Thank you. Now, another important question. Have you ever gotten a math problem wrong simply because of making one little mistake? I'm sure you have, as thousands of other students have. Now, in this series, we're going to be looking at the common mistakes that students make with all the topics in CSEC Math. We're going to look at the common errors, demystify everything. Make sure you watch every video in this series so that you can avoid making those mistakes. So, stay tuned. Hello, scholars. Did you know that most times when students get problems wrong in mathematics is as a result of one single error or one mistake? Well, this is absolutely true, and we're going to be looking at the common errors that students make in the different topics in mathematics. If we know the errors beforehand, we can certainly avoid making them. Are you ready? Come on, take my hand.